Today I'm doing a wheel bearing change. I'm also going to be showing you how to replace the rotor and pads as well. This is going to be on a 2007 Ford 500. You'll be needing these items: a sledgehammer, a C-clamp, a 32mm socket, a 10mm ratchet and socket, and a 1/2 inch ratchet with a 15mm socket, and also an extended with a 1/2 inch socket as well. And of course, the wheel bearing, and a jack stand, and a jack. First step when you're doing anything under the car, especially brakes, is make sure you engage your emergency parking brake. When you're ready to put your jack stand, look for a hard point. Something like around the frame right here, or where the steering knuckle and everything else connects all along the side over here as well. Once you found a hard point for your jack stand and is properly preset, I say preset meaning the wheels are not off the ground, but it's preset. Now you can begin to loosen the lug nuts. Once the lug nuts are loose, all of them, now you can go ahead and jack up the vehicle, because now the tire will be easy to come off because lug nuts are not loose, and you won't have to worry about that resistance of the wheel spinning while trying to loosen the lug nut. Because if you don't do it right, you have to put the car back on the ground and loosen the lug nuts again. When I jack up my car, I like to have two supporting jack stands. That's 4 tons, 2 tons each stand. Extra protection. You don't have to worry about going under the car and the car coming down on you. Most important, make sure that both teeth is solidly on a hard point. If you only have one tooth, well, that now increases your risk of the car coming down. All right. So as you see here, these are new pads with the dust prevent protection. That's the red stuff, and a new rotor. Well, yesterday I had a very hard time getting off the wheel bearing, so I purchased a nice handy dandy sledgehammer from Harbor Freights. It was $9.99, and this is a multi-purpose. I can use this to hit a certain point, or use a flat part to beat the hell out of it, because that's what you got to do to these things. The first step will be to compress the caliper using a C-clamp, and I'll show you how to do that in a moment. The purpose of compressing a caliper is so that that caliper can easily slide off the brackets here. This is the bracket, and here's a caliper. So we have to compress it. I'm going to put one end on this side and the other end on that side, and you take this right here and you keep turning it, and it will compress in, make this easier to come off. I'll show you. Also note this: depending on the type of vehicle you have, it may be a single piston or a 2-piston caliper. How you know is that it'll be a spot here and a spot here. I know I have a double piston caliper, so I have to compress both sides, this side and that side. Now, to take off the caliper itself, you want to use a 1/2 inch socket and a 1/2 inch socket ratchet, so that you can properly take it off and crack it open just like that. Now, next we're going to take off is a bracket that requires a 15mm socket right here in the back. So what I have done so far, so I have taken off the caliper, which is hanging up there, and I have also taken off the bracket as well. Now we're going to take off the rotor, which is easy said than done. Drop that down, and the next I need to take off that axle nut. This is for the wheel bearing job. Now for me, it was easy to take off the axle nut because I was already working on it yesterday. But the trick to this here is that when you loosen up the axle nut, if you're having a hard time, I would definitely use a propane tank, like a mini torch, something like this, to heat up the axle nut by putting fire to it to loosen up the metal and it come off more smoother. Now in this situation, I loosened the axle nut just enough so it's flush with the axle, with actually the axle, so I can hammer this to kick the axle back to loose it free. Just a little tap, not heavy. If you hit it too hard, you can ruin the threading on your axle. There it is. Now it's loose. And by the way, I did forget, I use a 32mm axle socket. This is for impact, just in case you're having a hard time. You can use an impact wrench, ratchet or wrench to take that off. And this is a 3-inch bar that I use to get the level and support I need to crack the nut open. Now, in the back of the wheel bearing, there is 4 bolts. There is going to be one here, and same on the other side as well. To get these bolts out, you have to get back here. I don't know if you can see that, but that's one of the bolts right there that you have to take out. And that's 4 of those. You also may need to use a torch to heat up those nuts to get them out. But like I said before, for me, I don't have to because I was already loosening those up yesterday.